What has gone wrong with America is not a random visitation of fate. It is the result of forces which have assumed control of the American system. Economic royalists, as oppressive as a crown 200 years ago. These forces are militarism, monopoly, and the mass media. Television, because of its technology and the way it must be used, can only produce autocratic political forms, hierarchies, and hopeless alienation. Mass media monopolies control people by their control of information. In our vast society, it is virtually impossible to escape the influence of commercial advertising. And who can deny that we are a nation addicted to television and the constant flow of media? And not a few of us are frustrated by this addiction. Now I ask you, my fellow Americans, haven't you ever wanted to put your foot through your television screen?
There has been opposition to accept them as natural. The question is, will they ever become legal?
I do not logically understand the case that says we threaten their marriage, and they call it the defense of marriage. Defense against what?
Healthy societies endorse heterosexual relationships between men and women. You don't have to be right-wing to think that men marrying men and women marrying women is a dopey idea.
To the other people who are not engaging in this.
The people have defined marriage over thousands of years as being between a man and a woman.
You're trying to say that marriage has this great history.
It does have a great history, Bill.
It does, but not in the way you're talking about. It was originally to pass property along and to keep primogeniture as a system. Okay, so it wasn't about men and women.
Any other word that you can use to describe me?
Oh, I got a few words. Starts with a B, and it's not beautiful.
I don't know. I think when her numbers went down, she should have brought down her neckline.
Will the United States elect a female president?
2040 or 2050?
That late?
Let's hope so.
In 2013, you pardoned a turkey. What do you have planned for 2014?
We'll probably pardon another turkey. We do that every Thanksgiving. Was that depressing to you, seeing one turkey kind of taken out of circulation, a turkey you couldn't eat?
Oh, I gotta go with Tony.
Tony. Jeff Probst.
Gotta go with Tony.
Tony. Bernie Sanders.
Gotta go with Tony.
Tony. Kanye.
I gotta go with Tony.
Yeah.
What did I say?
George Clooney.
Oh. Well, Tony could be the first term and George could be the second.
All right. All right.
Senator Sanders, I think the most important thing, we talked about a lot of important things, but most importantly, what are you going to do to help ASAP Rocky get out of Sweden?
There really isn't a separation between the church and the state.
This is a society based upon a separation of church and state. You are absolutely, and I would defend your right to exclude homosexuals from marriage in your congregations or whenever you see fit, although I would disagree with you. But as a matter of civil rights, and of the state, and of a secular society apart from the church, you're wrong. It's a civil right, and it needs to be defended.
What if a man says that he was very attracted to a beast, be it a dog or be it a whatever?
Thanks. I'm sorry, but I find the equation of a human being to a beast, of homosexuals to animals, to be something that I actually is beneath answering.
Do you think New York State should recognize gay marriage?
No.
No.
Women are everywhere. We're letting them play golf and tennis now. It's out of control.
You know what?
You know.
You read the headlines since men are so great.
To support women in the military who are now being raped too much. What did they expect?
They use bare aspirin for contraceptives. The gals put it between their knees, and it wasn't that costly.
Like this right-wing slut, what's her name, Laura Ingraham? Yeah, she's a talk slut.
Is it going to be hard in 2 years when you're no longer president and people will stop letting you win at basketball?
How does it feel having a 3-inch vertical?
It's a 3-inch horizontal. So.
The answer is yes, but the people in New Hampshire, where I'm going to be in about an hour from now, I hope they're going to understand. Okay?
You say yes?
Go ahead with my hairspray.
When you see how well it works for Donald Trump, do you ever think to yourself, oh, maybe I should be more racist? When he's elected president and Kid Rock becomes Secretary of State, are you going to move to Canada or one of the Arctics?
I would stay in the United States.
And what would you try to...
Try to prevent him from destroying the United States.
So you're going to lead the Civil War?
No, I wouldn't take up arms. I think that might be a little extreme.
Oh, right, because you were saying before we were rolling that you wanted to take away everyone's guns. Very cool. Cool.
This is not a liberal or conservative issue. This has to do with human decency, human rights, and equality under the law.
Do you now believe that gay people should have full rights to civil marriage nationwide?
I don't think the rest of us should get in the way of that. I think it's a good thing.
I believe the Bible clearly states it begins with a marriage and it ends with a wedding. I believe the will of the people should be upheld.
The idea of submitting the rights of an oppressed minority to the whims of a majority is the reason we have a constitution.
Define marriage.
I believe that marriage is the union between a man and a woman.
We can't deal with foreign terrorism until we deal with the moral terrorism, and this is a dagger blow at the heart of the family.
Anybody who would equate loving couples who've made a personal commitment to each other in their own lives with terrorists simply is in a different place than I am.
Kids need a mom and a dad. That's what marriage is about. It's not about two moms, two dads, three moms. It's about a mom and a dad. And that's what public policy should promote.
That is not what marriage is about, because people without children can get married. In this country, marriage is not defined by the presence of children.
You can't get a word ahead.
You strip me of my rights and I interrupt you. Who's really suffering?
I think same-sex couples should be able to get married.
The question is, which vision of marriage is the truth? Justice Scalia wrote in his dissent in the Windsor case that the decision in Windsor was going to lead to marriage equality across this country.
I support marriage for lesbian and gay couples.
What has gone wrong with America is not a random visitation of fate. It is the result of forces which have assumed control of the American system. Economic royalists, as oppressive as the Crown 200 years ago. These forces are militarism, monopoly, and the mass media. Television, because of its technology and the way it must be used, can only produce autocratic political forms, hierarchies, and hopeless alienation. Mass media monopolies control people by their control of information. In our vast society, it is virtually impossible to escape the influence of commercial advertising. And who can deny that we are a nation addicted to television and the constant flow of media? And not a few of us are frustrated by this addiction. Now I ask you, my fellow Americans, haven't you ever wanted to put your foot through your television screen? Today, there stand before us two media matadors, brave young men from Ant Farm, who are about to go forth into the unknown. And let me say this, these artists are pioneers. They are pioneers as surely as were Lewis and Clark when they explored uncharted territory. They are pioneers as surely as Armstrong and Aldrin when they set foot on the moon. They do this not from self-interest, but intuitively as an act of patriotism. They do this not for themselves alone, but for all Americans. And I believe they are, by this act, reiterating a most cherished and deeply felt belief that the greatest statements about this great country of ours are heartfelt by individuals and never prearranged by committee. And so, my fellow Americans, let me say this finally about media burn. The world may never understand what was done here today, but the image created here shall never be forgotten. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.